want you to hit me as hard as you can. Here's Johnny.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfuckers.
We in the killing Nazi business. Cousin, business is a boom.
Well, we used to look up in the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt.
Oh, and we're off. Hey there, funky party people. Are we having fun? This is your host, Cornelius. Oh, it's a sweaty one out there. It's a scorcher. What is up, Kodai?
I've had a great week. Kanye just came out with a new album on Friday, and so I listened to it 4 or 5 times, and it's really hitting, jiving with me. So,
You're getting your.
And he's got another one coming out this Friday. So I mean, we're recording this on 6/3. I believe this upcoming Friday he's got another one coming out, a collab album with Kid Cudi called the group is called Kid See Ghost. So I'm really excited. I'm even more excited maybe for that one. So I like Kid Cudi.
I like Kid Cudi too. I think Kid Cudi was on. Was it Cudi that was on Rogan?
Yeah, he did. Rogan.
Yeah.
I actually just listened to that again. I don't know, 1,000 episodes ago or whatever.
Literally, yeah.
A couple years ago, yeah.
You know what's crazy? I know what I'm doing the day I listen to a podcast. And the day I listen to that Kid Cudi podcast, I can see myself in my kitchen cooking. I can't see what I'm cooking, but it unlocks something in my brain. But if you think Jennifer Lawrence is annoyingly relatable, Kid Cudi is welcomely relatable. He is very cool dude.
I didn't know Jennifer Lawrence had that trait with people.
What, the annoyingly relatable thing?
I did.
Yeah, okay. Well, they do it on SNL all the time. Ariana Grande does an impersonation of Jennifer Lawrence, and she's like, sometimes I just want Pringles and I eat Pringles.
Oh.
And everybody's like, oh.
That sounds like a bad Amy Schumer joke is what that sounds like.
Well, Ariana Grande is way better than Schumer. I'll tell you that.
I actually like Amy Schumer's first special, I think.
I liked Schumer after the first time she was on Rogan. I
know, me too. Yeah, I was like, this girl's not that bad. I also liked Anthony Jeselnik, and now I don't like either of them.
Wait, what happened to Jeselnik?
He seemed too repetitive with his jokes. It was always say something, and then
it's like risque.
Say something that you think you're gonna be offended by, and then you're offended by it more because it's even worse or like more gross. It's like, I killed a baby. Just kidding. It was 2 babies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's like almost like, I swear, like every joke he does.
I agree. Okay. I've only seen one Jeselnik special, and I was hopped up on pain pills. But I remember being pissed, and you just described why I was pissed.
It was like every
he has
joke
a shtick.
Yeah, and he doesn't. I mean, maybe he's abandoned it, and I hope he has, because the first special was kind of okay, I guess. It gets sort of lame near the end, but if you do 2 specials the same exact way, then shame on you.
Yeah,
for being more successful and pretty famous.
Yeah, fuck you, dude. There's a guy, I think it's on YouTube. I think he's the Nerd Writer, and he did like a video story about what Louis does for a joke, and he breaks it down, and after watching it you're like, fuck. See, Louis knows how to tell a fucking joke. Some of these hacks, they're going to fall through the fucking grates, but the big badasses, those guys are going to stay around.
Yeah, I mean, Louis he's pretty great. Actually, I think I watched this movie and Louis had a joke. He has a joke about Matthew McConaughey.
Really?
Where I think it was on his last special when he's wearing a suit. It's on Netflix. It might not be on Netflix anymore.
Oh.
But he said he really connected with the scene from Magic Mike where Matthew McConaughey is walking around. He's like, the law says you cannot touch. But it looks like I see a lot of lawbreakers around here.
Ooh, that wasn't a bad Matthew either.
He's just walking around his room saying, the law says you cannot touch. It looks like I see a lot of lawbreakers around here.
How does Louis relate to that?
I can't remember the full joke, but he said like he spent like his entire day just repeating that line over and over. So, yeah. It's pretty funny.
Dude, that's genius.
And there's a Matthew McConaughey line. Oh, so the movie is Interstellar 2014. Matthew McConaughey, Michael Caine,
Fucking the titties.
is it
Hans Zimmer.
Jessica Chastain? Is that her name?
Redhead that's in some stuff. I call her that.
Yeah. Topher Grace. Unexpected appearance by Topher Grace.
Topher out of left field.
Yeah. Which, if you're not a fan of that 70s show, he plays Eddie Brock in that in Spider-Man 3.
Kind of.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're doing some motherfucking Interstellar, and this episode's going to be cool because Cody and I have podcasted about space and time shit before, so it's always just super fun to do that. And Interstellar is just a fucking dope ass movie. We've talked about this before too, but let's talk about the Matthew McConaughey formula. So you remember the whole like how he was never this star-studded Lincoln lawyer, catch you on the other side slick. Like he was never this star-studded badass. He used to be.
I had wrote him off as being the shitty actor. And I think we might have talked about this in our first episode, or maybe
this was Manscaped.
A previous podcast called Manscaped.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah. See you on this show.
And we got an argument about like what movie it was. I think on like what he revived his career with. I think it was. We kept on saying Mud. It might have been Lincoln Lawyer. I think is what
I think it was Lincoln Lawyer, but after like Lincoln Lawyer, like you'll see him. He's in crazy like. He's now one of those method actors.
He's really, really good.
Yeah,
he's like a Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah. From fucking Ghost of Girlfriend's Past to fucking I'm Rich, Kiss My Ass. You know, he's worth $95 million, dude.
Shit. How much does Tom Cruise get?
Ooh, look that up real quick.
How much is The Rock? The Rock is currently the highest paid actor. At least a year ago he was. How crazy is that?
Yeah, he was a fucking. I kind of think John Cena's right behind him though.
No, I bet nowhere near. John Cena never made it onto film the way The Rock has.
John Cena's breaking in right now.
I mean, he's been making an attempt. I mean, he did a lot of. So there's a WWE or WWF or whatever production company.
Yeah,
and they do movies. And they're movies for people that enjoy wrestling. They're not terrible. I think the last one I saw was 12 Rounds, maybe, where he jumped from a helicopter into a pool on top of a building. Not great, but I mean, John Cena though was The Rock before The Rock. I think like he was their poster boy originally, and I just don't think he just missed it. And then The Rock did Scorpion King, and I guess he crushed it with that CGI bot of his.
Oh, dude, okay. best CGI ever. If you've ever listened to an episode of this podcast, you know we love that CGI.
I'm going to crack a beer open.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking some Columbus Creeper again.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
I had a fresh batch out. I've been drinking beers on and off kind of all day today.
Yeah, I've had a few beers already myself. I had the 90-minute IPA.
Oh, it's a good one.
I was doing some 60s, you know, and then I went to 90 because I'm a loose cannon cop on the edge.
Did you go up to 120?
Ooh, slow her down there, Turbo. No, I did not.
The 120 originally, so actually, it's an 18% alcohol IPA.
Yeah.
But the last one I got was actually like 16.9 or something. So they must be doing some type of variant with it, maybe. Originally, you couldn't buy Ohio because that ABV law, but they overturned that finally.
I wonder if it fluctuates because they're like small batch.
Yeah, so I don't know. I never looked anything up on it, so I never found any info. But I had one 2 or 3 weeks ago with a friend. We split one because it's like split a 12-ounce beer type of beer. It gets you drunk.
Yeah, no shit. Does it taste like a liquor at all, or does it still taste like beer? Because I've had.
No, I mean when
I've
you
had 'em
think
like
you
that.
18% beer, you're like, oh my god, this must be horrible. But it's a good beer.
Really?
People can mask the. I mean, it's still like it tastes like a beer. It does taste more. It does have more of like a kick to it. You're like, oh shit, but it's not. It's nothing off-putting.
Yeah, I've had some beer that tastes like straight whiskey, and then they'll obviously call it a stout because stout masks. I feel like stout masks alcohol more than IPA does. Because you could call it like a whiskey,
maybe so, yeah.
Like a cask kind of thing.
Because you get like a lot of like chocolate or like wood flavors or
Yeah.
milk. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Coffee. Some strong flavors that can cover up alcohol or blend in with alcohol.
Yeah.
I enjoy the bourbon flavored ones that are. The highest beer I've had was a stout, and it was 28%, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I had 100% beer one time. It was a Bud Light, and I just poured rubbing alcohol into it.
I think that it could kill you.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a funny name for it, but all I got was Brubbing Light. It's really shitty. So I don't want to let this Cena thing get away because I did just listen to a very heartfelt hour of John Cena talking. That motherfucker, like, you know how people say John Cena is like such a cool dude and he's always like the hero of WWF or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Dude, he is, man. He's like...
That's everything I've heard. I've
Dude.
never heard anything bad about him.
Dude, I know. If he ever gets a Me Too, I swear to God. Like, when Morgan Freeman got it, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, a lot of people are heartbroken about it, but if John Cena got it, I'd be like, oh, shit. Cena?
See, I don't know if this is entirely true or not, but so John Cena is known for his Make-A-Wish.
Yeah. Make a wish,
And
baby.
he's like always doing Make-A-Wish for the kids. I think he's actually number 2, and the person that is beating him is Justin Bieber.
Really? Nobody talks about Bieber.
Yeah, no one talks about Bieber. It could be opposite. Now, people said that like Bieber could be second, but I think Bieber's first, and John Cena is actually second. And some people said that the numbers aren't fantastic because a lot of people do it without having it known. So like incomplete data. A lot of people just don't want to get the fame for it. So maybe John Cena and Justin Bieber are the only ones having their name actually written down. But regardless, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, especially coming from the Biebs. I'm really pulling for the Biebs to come through, dude, because I see a little bit of myself in that guy. He's sexy. Everybody wants him. That's basically me.
I try not to shit on him because I just think about like how he grew up in life.
Yeah,
I mean,
up.
He was rich as shit when he was 8 years old, and he had like grown women wanting to fuck him.
Yeah,
like how
and
weird would
grown
that be?
men.
Yeah, grown men. And I mean, you grow up though, you're surrounded by yes men, right? Everyone's telling you you can do whatever you want. You're super successful. I mean, how would you grow up like at that? I'd probably way worse, right?
Oh, dude. 90% of the man I've become is to be more presentable to the opposite sex, to spread my seed. It's an instinctual thing that drives me. And Bieber never had that. They just flicked the switch on for him. They're like, yeah, Justin, everybody wants to fuck you. Here's the switch. Like, every choice I've made is to become what Bieber became. And he just, one day, it just happened. That's a lot of growing you're missing out on.
And I was like, baby, come.
Thought you would always be mine. Oh, now, if we're going to talk about Bieber, I'm going to straight up say it, dude. That motherfucker.
Welcome to Bieber Talk with
we're what?
Cody and Cornelius. So
yeah.
Welcome to Bieber Talk.
Welcome to Bieber Talk. Today's on Bieber Talk. I do enjoy some of Bieber's old jams, but I like to watch the videos before he got discovered. And that little motherfucker, dude. I know shit Usher saw him like that.
Oh shit, I forgot. What happened to Usher?
Dude, Usher got that
Dude.
Bieber money, bro.
He was on top of the world.
Dude, he is higher than on top of the world. I guarantee.
Akon too. What happened to Akon?
Akon finger bangs.
He discovered
somebody
Lady
that wasn't
Gaga.
18.
And I guess didn't know shit. Is that Akon?
Yeah, I mean that's why that song, 21 and Older Club. They say I don't remember the song, but he wrote a song about how he got in trouble about hooking up with a girl that was under 18. Basically,
Sure, it's not R. Kelly.
no, it was for sure Akon, because the song is talking about the club was for 21 and older, and he took an 18-year-old girl home. Like, those were the lyrics of the song.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I don't know where Akon is. I think he's trying to crawl back out of that rabbit hole, and Sean Paul made it out, so maybe anybody can.
Sean Paul. I don't think I ever knew like exactly what. I know the name, of course.
You know
but
the music, man. I'm gonna do it for you. Here you go. Sean Paul, some may give it to some. I'm gonna lay the right, come on, keeping you on. I got the right temperature. You know Sean Paul, right?
I don't know.
You don't know that song?
I don't know if I know that
What?
song.
What?
I was about this. Where's CeeLo Green? Because is he just doing the voice? Is that what he does though?
I don't know.
Just thinking about that. I see you drive around town with the girl I love, and I was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
That song, dude. That song is fucking good.
and that's not even his best song. I do love that song.
That song is great.
Yeah, but
I hate the edit version because when I worked at
forget
Ace,
you.
yeah, get you too. No, come on, dude.
Come
We all
on.
know what you're saying.
Just
say
bleep it. That's one of those
No,
things.
don't believe it. Just say fuck. Just let that one slip.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck you. The name of the song is fuck
that's
you.
like the name of the song.
Yeah.
And it's not like if you have a song. I don't know if that's the name of it, but if you have a song named "Fuck You," you would think it'd be like, "Oh shit, this is like some sort of like crazy metal band, right?" Like they're
No.
just super lazy. No, it's like a really like upbeat, like fun song. And it's called "Fuck You."
Yeah, that's one of those songs that like it seems happy, but it's totally not. Like he's so heartbroken that he spent all that time to write a song just to tell her to fuck off.
He's seeing his ex-girlfriend cruise around. He's like super pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But he's like, I think he's kind of cool with it though. He's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, I guess throughout the whole song he is pretty happy. Have you heard his other big song, "Bright Lights, Big City"?
I'm not sure.
You would like that song, but that was in those fucking acapella movies. What are those? What is that?
Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, I saw the first one. That's about it.
I think I've seen this first and second.
Wow, dude. Pretty lame.
It wasn't my thing, but people like him, so I'm not gonna shit on you for enjoying him.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna
think
shit
Caitlin
on
was
you. That was back when Adam from Workaholics was like the shit, you know. I'm kind of
Their
worried.
movies, I like their movie on Netflix.
I did too.
Game Over?
Yeah,
That was funny.
but
It
it happened and then it was over.
Yeah, I don't think it didn't seem like it got pushed very hard.
No.
On Netflix, but
I
enjoyed
enjoyed it.
I thought it didn't take itself serious enough to make it bad. Like, it was like a action comedy that wasn't, the whole Nintendo thing.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it's
great.
the whole movie felt like an episode of Workaholics about Die Hard. Just a long Workaholics episode.
It was super Die Hard. Like the color palette, I felt kind of matched it.
Yeah, for sure.
If only Alan Rickman came back and blessed us with his presence.
Fell off the building. Rest in peace, dude. Shouldn't
It
have
was
been
crazy that he
Snape.
died. Yeah, did not expect that one.
I was never a super big fan, but what made you dig him? Snape?
Just Harry Potter did, yeah.
You're a pretty big Harry Potter fan, huh?
Like Harry Potter, yeah. Like the books, like the Legos, like it all.
Did you like Harry Potter before your wife, or is that like why you guys like each other so much, you think?
That's why we're married, is because of Harry Potter.
Did that play a role?
I mean, I did enjoy them, yeah, before I knew her, so.
Yeah, but was that something
not
you
as
had
much
in
as
common?
her. I mean, we watched not every movie, but when we were dating, we started going to all the movies in
Really?
the theater to watch them like on release days. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we read the books around the same time when they came out. So yeah,
I remember.
yeah, pretty important part I think growing up.
Yeah, I mean, she's a fucking super fan. I never really realized you were until, well, now that I recognize she. Yeah, just realized it, dude. We have a friend, Brandon, and I used to stay with him all the time, and we would have like sleepovers and shit. Brandon literally snuck out of the house at midnight one night, and he knew nobody else was a fan of Harry Potter, so he left, went to see his fucking midnight release, and just came back and fell asleep. It was the weirdest fucking thing. He left a sleepover to go see Harry Potter. If you refer to what I said earlier in the podcast, everything I've done in life is to spread my seed. I was reading Twilight because all the girls in high school were reading Twilight. I wanted to get into their minds. I stopped when I stopped when 50 Shades came out, though. I'll tell you that.
I saw the first Twilight trailer, and I was like, man, this movie looks like kind of cool. And then
The wolf.
the first trailer was deceiving. It's like, oh, it's like vampires, but then we saw, because it might have played before Cloverfield. Honestly.
Oh yeah, that's about that time.
And we watched the trailer, and then I was with my friend Shape, and we saw the trailer, and they said the movie was Twilight. I was like, what a fucking dumb name for this cool like vampire movie that they're coming out with. Why would you call it Twilight? And then I found out, of course, like what was going on.
It was the talk of this decade.
That's the best movie. I've seen them all because I watched them all over the course of the years, and I was never gonna quit after I was in like 4 movies. I think like the second to last movie or the last movie were just like almost like nothing happened.
Well, okay, yeah. So
it was terrible.
Right, the second to the last movie, it was just all story building and shit. And then the last movie, it was just like to get everybody to like come, like here you go, this is what you wanted, come, like that. But then it doesn't transfer to film very well. So what they did in the very final movie, they added
a whole scene, right, that never existed.
A whole thing.
Yeah.
Which was badass. Which was cool.
Which was needed, though, to salvage the book, right? Because if you didn't have that scene, that would have been the worst fucking thing ever, right? Like,
yeah.
It would have been, like, build up for nothing.
Yeah, what it was, I'm not worried about spoiling Twilight, so I'm going to just say it. Yeah, fuck you guys. But what it was is all the Twilight people have superpowers, and it's a very rare thing to do when you're a vampire, I guess. And one of the sisters has That's So Raven's exact same power. Like she can see the future.
Right?
She can see into the future. Yes. So, she saw.
I never watched That's So Raven.
You did it? Well, hopefully.
Steve Stevens.
Yeah, respect.
That was me.
Hopefully, a fan and the listeners here will appreciate that song I just sang. But she essentially could see in the future, and that whole last scene that was fabricated was just her vision. And if you didn't read the book, you didn't know that.
Yeah, I wasn't aware until like afterward. I was like, thank goodness they added it.
Yeah, well, I guess. Maybe they just shouldn't have made a shitty book a shitty movie.
Well, I guess, yeah. She's not like an accomplished writer. I guess neither was J.K. Rowling, right? Look what she made. She made like a universe, I think, rivals Lord of the Rings.
Really?
I got an argument.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got an argument a bit, but like, it's not as serious. It's not as dark. It's for children, but it felt like those worlds. I think it just felt like really great, and then the movies, the way they translated over, they really like crushed it out of the park. And there's some bad effects, but I mean, even the original Lord of the Rings now, some of that stuff has aged as well.
Really?
It's crazy things that, yeah. I mean, so like this could be going from like DVD to Blu-ray and like high resolution TVs, but it's like seeing with the cave troll in Lord of the Rings. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look great anymore. But it's crazy thinking when you first saw that, like how things change because of the everything else that's existing that you've seen as well. Like the cave troll looked really fantastic when I first saw it. I was like, holy shit. But after you see things better than it, it's kind of like when you play a video game. Like when I played N64, I was like, this basically looks like real life. And then as I've gotten older, and then you play, more advanced consoles or computer master race, those graphics look like dog shit, and you can hardly look at them sometimes without hurting your eyes. It seems.
Yeah, I just looked up the cave troll, and you're right. It looks like very CGI-ish. That's where we're at with movies now, though. Like, CGI has been pushed so hard that you want it to look real now.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I was talking to someone, or maybe we were talking about it, but Lord of the Rings, the original Lord of the Rings movies, they use practical effects a lot more.
Yeah.
And the Hobbit films, they didn't. So just practical effects, if done right, I think just they can age better. In this movie that we're doing, Interstellar, Christopher Nolan he's a fan of practical effects.
Yeah.
He did it with the Batman films.
TARS.
And he did it with this movie as well. Yeah, TARS.
Case.
Really a good. Yeah, the TARS case robots. They crushed it with the practical effects. And even like the spaceship and everything. Some of those shots, they really put a lot of heart into this movie, I think.
Yeah, and I think that not only does it look better, because obviously technology is not going to surpass a practical effect, but it just shows how much more passion you have about your project, because you're not putting it off on somebody else. Christopher Nolan, I guarantee he's in there like thinking of ways to make his vision pop out with the practical effect artist. And
this isn't to shit on CGI, because CGI is absolutely necessary.
Of course, yeah.
For so much stuff, but it's use it when you need it, and if you can avoid using it and make something look good with practical.
No, if you're gonna make a fucking,
you should make that effort to do that.
Some movies represent a giant bukkake. The viewer, being myself, is just the person in the middle, and the CGI is just blasting at you, It's just a big CGI bukkake, and come on, dude. Anybody could pay for some dope CGI. That's why
Avatar looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I think still maybe to this day, and we got 4 more movies coming out. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, right, dude. I think them saying Avatar, 4 more movies, is just to keep everybody's spirits up. They've been telling us that since fucking...
How crazy.
It's been a decade.
10 years.
It's been a decade. Yeah. What the fuck?
So, I mean, at this rate, we'll be like 70 years old by the time the last movie comes out.
Yeah.
Which is a scary thought.
It better be... Yeah, I won't even care at that age. Know your audience, dude. What the fuck?
I heard something about they have like 20 or so Transformers.
Oh.
Like in the works? Or
no.
Scripts written?
No.
So the way Red things are now is movies have gotten so big budget, even like some small budget movies are eating up a lot of budget. So you have to have like a giant cash cow that you can crank out. This is how like the industry's kind of been molded in the past like decade. So you have to have a giant cash cow film that brings in all the money, and then some of that other money can fund your smaller projects. So if you don't have one, then you're fucked. So you had the Transformers movies were expected to be Paramount Pictures. Right? Is that Universal or Paramount?
It's Universal. It's at the
Universal. Yeah,
it's
at the park. Yeah. So that was supposed to be Universal's cash cow. The last, or maybe the 4th one with Michael Bay, didn't do that great. So things were kind of getting rocky a bit, and I even fucking pay attention or notice that 4th one or 5th one came out.
I can't keep track.
I think
feels like way
Teenage
more.
Mutant Ninja Turtles flopped pretty bad.
Yeah, because it was a piece of shit movie.
So yeah, and some franchises have had they've run their course. They're done. So you're not going to be cranking out a movie every 2 years. That's going to do that. So Marvel, holy shit, dude! Disney is fucking set for life.
Oh, dude,
the Marvel movies are crushing it.
Yeah,
and then Star Wars. I mean, I'm not sure how well Solo did at the box office. I saw Solo this recently. I went into it low expectations, I think, because of the ratings it was getting, and I actually really enjoyed it.
That's what I'm hearing.
It wasn't my favorite movie ever, but I walked out of the theater satisfied.
What do you think, that or Rogue One? Probably Rogue One, right?
Rogue One, I think, is maybe one of the best Star Wars movies made.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I'm honestly hearing a lot of what you're saying, though. Like, I'm hearing a lot of down talk on it, but it's just because of what critics are saying. It's the third lowest rated one in the whole series, but 71% still not a bad movie. And I heard Woody Harrelson's character killed it.
He's good, yeah.
I love Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah, you can. I guess he doesn't have too much range, but he's kind of like he plays like a lovable asshole.
Yeah,
in a lot of his roles.
He plays the same dude, but goddamn does he sell it. And
he crushes that. I think about it now. He plays a very similar role in every movie he's in.
Well,
even like TV with True Detective as well.
Yeah. Ooh, Matthew McConaughey was in True Detective. Fucking smashed it.
I think we went deep into that one before, but
did we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're this is episode 8 that we're recording. We're already repeating ourselves terribly. So
that's okay. I don't.
If you're a new listener, then we apologize.
I gotta say, I still
hopefully we have some new listeners.
Yeah. Please be a new listener. But I do think that was Manscaped, though, Cody.
Oh shit. Well,
so
could be.
So fuck you. But just a little tidbit. If you haven't seen the True Detective series on HBO, check it out. Matthew McConaughey fucking kills it, and so does Woody. But what movie were you gonna recommend this week, Cody?
I was gonna recommend. I mean, in heart with Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk. Dunkirk is on HBO right now.
What do you think?
I saw it. I watched it in the theater, IMAX theater, with an earache, and it really fucking hurt my ear.
Oh,
but it's
it sucks.
The audio is loud in it. It's really strong.
Yeah.
It's a pretty incredible movie. I think it's Nolan's best artistic piece.
Really?
I don't know if I'd say his best movie because like this is really good. Obviously, Dark Knight is pretty fantastic. Memento is some sort of like crazy work of art as well, I believe.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at like all the use of the shots, the lack of dialogue, I'm always like a fan of movies that don't have dialogue in them for some reason. Maybe
like Castaway.
Castaway might have more dialogue than Dunkirk.
Really? Fuck.
Just the sound engineers or whatever deserve an Oscar, or deserved I guess the movie already went through the Oscar process, but
yeah,
I'm not sure if they won something, but they really crushed it with the sound design. It's good.
Well, are you into?
It looks good.
Are you a war movie fan? Because I'm not big into war movies.
I'm not opposed to war movies.
I like Fury.
It's not something. It's not something I seek out. I know. Actually, I bought Fury, and never got around to watching it still.
Oh, Fury's good.
I love Saving Private Ryan, Inglourious Basterds, which you can say isn't a war movie, but it's kind of a war movie. It's an alternate history.
Yeah, that's a good
war movie. It's within the Tarantino universe.
Yeah,
it's a history. So.
I'd say the unsung heroes of Fury, Shia LaBeouf is fucking amazing, and then the guy from fucking Walking Dead. Yeah, dude. He's a fucking cunt.
I can't remember his name, but he did the Punisher.
Yeah.
On Netflix, and that was really great.
Really? Is that your TV recommendation?
I just started the. I'll pull it up here. There's the Mastermind. No, Evil Genius is what it's called.
Evil Genius.
And it is covering the story of the pizza man in Erie, Pennsylvania, that had a bomb strapped to his chest. and he robbed a bank.
30 minutes or less.
Yeah, actually there was a lawsuit, I think, for that.
Oh shit.
So it covers that story.
Wow.
So I just started watching that, and it's pretty great. Yeah,
Is it acting or documentary style?
it's a documentary.
Oh, okay.
It's a 4-part miniseries documentary.
Cool. I'm down with that. Is it a Netflix original or?
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
Netflix original.
Okay, so
I'm fairly certain.
it's a new Making a Murderer.
Yeah, I think maybe they might be trying to coast off the murder porn
Yeah.
that people were so into. That Making a Murder guy, I'm fairly certain he's like super guilty.
Well, I'm pretty confident he did it, and
Yeah,
I
you could say like, maybe there was some fuckery afoot, but that guy fucking did it.
yeah. There's only so much fuckery that you can do.
Also, Serial podcast season 1, that guy did it.
Serial podcast.
That guy, yeah, Adnan Syed. That guy did it.
Who were they watching? Who did they do that episode?
They did like a 10-part episode.
Stephen Avery.
Series. No, his name is Adnan Syed.
Oh,
I think is how you pronounce it.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers, maybe should said something if you're into it. It's like 4 or 5 years old now, but
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
he was accused of murdering his girlfriend in Baltimore when he was in high school, like his senior year. And it's kind of the same thing with Making a Murder, where the conviction that they came up with might have not had the best evidence to support it. But I think he did it.
If you show me the person's face at the court case, I'll tell you if they did it or not. How about that?
Shit.
I'll just look at their fucking eyes. You can tell if somebody murdered somebody or not. Stephen Avery, homeboy, I'm comfortable enough to send you to prison, brother. All right.
What about the other guy, though? I was never quite sure on him.
The kid?
Yeah.
Shit, no. That kid had no idea. Literally, they said, hey, homeboy, do you want to get home and watch WWF? They did that same shit to me in elementary school. They're like, hey, all you have to do is say you did it, and then we're going to let you go play on the water slide. And everybody's going to love you because you saved Water Day. And I said I did the thing, but guess what? They pinned it on me, bro. I was the scapegoat. The fucking kid that smeared shit all over the toilet, he got to go down the water slide.
Damn, dude.
I went home. I was the scapegoat. Yeah, but I think that kid totally got set up. And there's a cool series, if you guys are on YouTube Red, made by the Vsauce guys. It's called Mindfield. And they did a whole episode about how interrogators force their opinions on you. It's pretty cool. So check that shit out.
Come at me.
Motherfucker.
Ain't got a pin on nothing on me.
Fuck y'all. Alright, bro. My movie this week is 7 Psychopaths. Woody Harrelson. Don't give a fuck.
It's great.
You've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, that movie definitely went under the radar. That's Colin Farrell, fucking the dude from Moon, Sam Rockwell, dude. He is so good. And
yeah, he's fantastic.
yeah, that movie was star-studded, and it didn't do shit. Like, nobody knows about
Is
it.
it Woody Harrelson?
Yeah, he's the 6th psychopath. You don't remember him?
I don't think I remember.
He's the main.
Woody Harrelson.
He's the main villain, brother.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
He's the one with the dog.
I was so focused on what's his name? I forgot about him.
I will say he
weird
is
guy.
meaner than normal in that movie. He's straight evil in that movie. Oh,
Well, if you steal a guy's dog, then I'm actually a little bit sympathetic with the cause.
yeah, I know. John Wick, like, you could tell your grandma, you want to see John Wick? It's about this dude that murders the fuck out of people, and she could be like, nah, and then just say like, yeah, but they took his dog. Number one,
Oh my God,
number one
kill
grandma
those men.
approved.
I think dogs are used as a plot device to put the audience on a certain character's side.
Yeah.
In movies often.
I think so too. I think that's like deep within our instincts too, because they helped us like evolve so much.
Yeah, we've like been alongside dogs for, like
Forever.
every human. Yeah, forever.
Forever. Yeah.
And they're so lovable. How can you hate a dog? If you hate dogs,
Then fuck you for real.
I mean, maybe you have a good reason.
I guess I was
If you don't
ripped.
have a good reason.
I was ripped apart by a dog when I was a kid.
Oh, shit.
Dude. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating for the sake of the story, but I came over to my friend's house and this big pit bull came out of his fence and jumped on me and just shook my arm, and I had to get stitches. There was blood everywhere. Still love dogs. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, it's crazy as shit. Yeah.
I sleep with dogs, bitch.
I sleep with the dog all day.
I don't give a fuck. Dude, my dating pool is cut in half. When I see girls with cats, I swipe left.
Fuck what you heard.
I don't care if you got a goddamn peach butthole. I'm swiping left, bitch. All right.
Peach butthole. Is that what the going?
That's
People going for now?
that's what the
Is
kids.
it a hot commodity?
That's what the emoji is. It's a peach butthole. Keep up with the kids.
Oh shit.
All right, and final thing I'm going to recommend before we get into this, Killer Joe with Matthew McConaughey. Holy shit. Oh, slow down there, Turbo. Check that movie out.
The law says you cannot touch. But it looks like I said a lot of lawbreakers around here.
Oh yeah, dude. Give me your best. Give me your best, Matthew McConaughey. Go. We're doing it right now. This is a competition.
Fuck, I don't know, dude.
I'll go first. Oh shit! I was gonna do the "Don't Let Me Leave" Murph scene. That's a bad idea. I have to get like snotty. Tars. Tars, you got a humor setting? Yeah, Coop, it's 75. Yeah, let's do a 55. All right, that's all I got. That's really bad. Yeah, slow her down there, Turbo. Now it's you, dude. we're gonna have people vote on it.
This is gonna be horrible.
You already did it like 8 times.
So you're telling me a G5 Corvette, a G5 jet with my own pilot, a G5.
A G5.
Oh.
You're telling me time is a flat circle. Yeah.
I got the TiVo.
Murph, don't let me leave, Murph. God damn it, don't let me leave.
All
right, dude, we're done. And we're back. And
we're back.
Yeah, and we're back.
So we took a short. You didn't know because I cut it out, but
Yeah.
I took a short breather.
You guys don't even know, dude.
We both went out and ran like fucking 2 miles.
Yeah, dude. Shit.
It's a bench.
I don't give a shit, dude. We're about to jump into this motherfucking movie, okay? Now.
Interstellar, 2014.
Sexy ass
Christopher
movie.
Nolan.
Hans Zimmer.
Oh yeah, my gosh, dude. Yeah, the music he created for this really crushed it.
Yeah, if I'm ever having a bad day, I play some Hans Zimmer, preferably the Interstellar main theme. Goddamn.
Crushed it.
Yeah, I want to get it on vinyl. But yeah, this movie's the shit. I don't want to be the guy that's like, this is my 7th favorite movie. No, I would say it's my 2nd, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. My favorite actor of all time, Matthew McConaughey's in it. You know what it is. McConaughey. You know what it is. It's Interstellar. Let's do this. I will tell you a few things about this movie before Cody puts us on the track here. Here's a few movies that came out the same month as Interstellar. These were the movies that it was competing with. Gone Girl, Nightcrawler, and one of Cody's favorite films, Birdman. All the same month. So this was
Well, Birdman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Birdman got Best Picture and Best Director, right?
Interstellar would have if
Or-
Birdman wasn't in the theaters that month.
Or
the whole year.
what's it? They changed the name of Birdman because it was advertised a lot of people thought it was a superhero movie, Birdman.
I did too. That's how they advertise, I feel.
What was it called?
Who directed that movie?
Ignorance of Alejandro. Oh shit! Let me look it up.
Wait, you're saying this is the name of Birdman?
No, Birdman. Fuck, I pulled Birdman rapper.
Put some respect on my name.
The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. So they added a second title to the movie.
That sounded...
Alejandro Inarritu, who also either directed or worked on The Revenant.
Oh, okay.
Which got I'm not sure. I don't know, what was he on?
Finally got Leo.
So he directed, produced, and wrote The Revenant. Birdman, he did the same thing. Yeah, that's what got what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, his Did you just say that?
Yeah, I did, but that's okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so I was thinking, and I was lost in thought.
Yeah, I think he should have got it for Wolf of Wall Street. But yeah, man, Revenant was dope. I think
there's a thing too, where like sometimes if you deserve a role, or a award, and they don't give it to you, there is, I guess, a thing where they will give it to you post. So say you should have got last year, but someone was kind of owed it before. There, from everything I've read, there is like a biased decision. So
really,
yeah. So there's a good chance he didn't deserve it for Revenant, because I think Eddie Redmayne also did The Danish Girl, which I never saw, but I heard was really good. Yeah, he didn't. It's possible he didn't deserve it. I don't know. I like the movie. The movie was good, but Wolf of Wall Street was pretty incredible.
Yeah,
on his part.
I mean, I don't care if he got it for Revenant or whatever, as long as he got his, you know, because he's been in the game, he's been killing it. I haven't seen him in a while, but yeah, I feel like Birdman was a little clickbaity though. That might be why I didn't watch it, to be honest. Because
you've seen it now, right?
No, I haven't.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I know, dude. I need to sit down and because it's.
What's wrong with you?
I know. Shit. Remind me. We'll watch that someday.
Yeah.
All right. And I would say this is, like I said, my all-time favorite soundtrack. I watched this with our buddy Paul, and seeing Paul try to understand the theory of relativity was just a dark thing to watch, because he just couldn't buy it, man. He just hated the he's like, this is fake. I'm like, no, Paul, this is scientifically proven. I mean, Einstein thought about this. He's like, it's fucking fake though.
They wrote a paper within the research of this movie trying to create it. Now, I'm not sure like how great their research was, but they did submit a paper.
There's a book called The Science Behind Interstellar.
Oh, is there? Shit, yeah. So.
Neil deGrasse Tyson recommends it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Interstellar, though. And I think our first line, which I wasn't entirely sure what this was, but I think she says, I thought you were the ghost, because he's having a nightmare of him flying the ship.
Yeah.
In our very first shot, which I don't... She says something close to that, at least. I thought you were the ghost.
I think she says that because he scared her awake.
Okay. So,
yeah, and this is
which is super fitting for the rest of the film.
Yeah. Because...
But we get this cool sort of... we get this dust documentary, which first time watching, what do you think of that?
Oh, I thought it was from the past. Like, I thought it was really cool, but it just felt like it was like something that had already happened.
Yeah, so I mean, spoiling for the movie, I guess, kind of. But I mean, you should have seen Interstellar. This is a podcast about breaking down.
Yeah,
the movie,
you should have watched it by now.
This is the audiobook. There's like this dust documentary, and like they only show old people in the documentary.
Yeah.
And it's they talk about how like the dust was so bad that you put like a bowl or your plates down face down because there was so much like dust and dirt blowing through, and you find out later that this is like future times.
Yeah, which is
like we can dive into that a little bit more.
Trippy as shit.
Like Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, all right, so here's one of the at the very beginning. Matthew McConaughey is taking his kids to school, and he has parent-teacher conferences. Michael Caine, I guess we forgot to mention him. He's the grandfather.
Lithgow.
Or no, John Lithgow. Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, John Lithgow is the grandfather.
Yeah.
And he tells him that he needs to do his job and repopulate the earth more. So he's telling him to try to possibly fuck the teacher of his daughter.
And this is the father of his deceased wife, by the way. just
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
And he says, which I thought this is like the most Matthew McConaughey line in the movie, where he says, "Why don't you mind your own business?"
Yeah, yeah.
Like the way he delivers it,
it was great.
Yeah.
He like
So
took a sip of coffee and then he said that he's like, "Why don't you mind your own business?" I was like, "Ow!"
Why don't you mind your own business?
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed their chemistry in this movie though. So that was very cool. Lithgow and Matthew did kind of kill it there.
Yeah, yeah. And so they to help kind of set up the movie and like kind of get the audience to sort of understand what is going on in this interstellar movie world, we have a military drone, a spy drone, surveillance drone, flying super, super low, and they chase it through a cornfield, and they sort of like hack it with a radar gun of some sort, and it crashes. And they said that the system controlling all this shit, it's an Indian drone, and it went down the same time as America's did.
10 years.
And I think the movie takes place in Colorado. Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think this movie takes place in Colorado. So give you an idea, like there's no militaries anymore. There's no armies. Drones are not. There's no Air Force. And so we're kind of like introduced to there's a few things that go on for the first half of this movie to give us an idea of like what type of world is going on. But they did it in sort of a clever way by not doing it on a mass scale.
Yeah.
Like they didn't show like giant cities that were just run down or crime ridden because like the government has fallen apart.
They did like
and so we're not entirely sure of the
microscopic
destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did it like just in a single families thing to give us a feel.
Yeah, I guess they gave like almost like a solo person perspective on what was going on.
It was a smart director move.
Yeah, it was a cool choice, I think. And there's a few other things. So I mean, they talk about how so there's no armies and only a handful of people go to college because Matthew McConaughey's son during his parent-teacher conference here they talk about he needs to be a farmer, and Matthew McConaughey's character Cooper, he's a engineer and a NASA pilot or an Air Force pilot, and those are no longer needed though. So there's no point.
Yeah.
And
they're like picking your jobs now, like aptitude.
Yeah, and the world, I guess, if you haven't seen the movie, the world is struggling for food, and that's like the number one sort of issue. And I think wheat died 7 years ago. And they said that okra, the last harvest of okra, is going to be this year. So after this, no okra, and it's basically just corn, which is kind of like a shitty crop for human nutrition. It's hard for people to digest corn and take nutrients from compared to a lot of other things.
Yeah,
I think you miss like a lot of shit. So
and it becomes like the only food that they have too. So. Everybody's growing corn.
Like, everyone's becoming like. I mean, yeah, this guy's a mechanical engineer, and he's a farmer now, because like that's like those are the only jobs. So and they're telling him that his son is going to be a great farmer, and only a handful of people go to college. It's not because there's no funding for the schools, and they also tell him. So his daughter got in a fight in school too, because she was arguing about the Apollo missions.
Yeah,
and the Apollo missions are taught in school that they are faked.
Yeah, it's Soviet Union. It's propaganda to drain the Soviet Union's bank account, essentially. That's
which is sort of the conspiracy theory now,
right?
And some people argue that the Soviet Union thing was not that's not a conspiracy at all. Like that was like a real thing. But they're saying in the textbooks that the moon landings were completely 100% fake.
Yeah. And
this is like government school, yeah.
And it's like known information too. She's like appalled that he even thinks that they went to the moon.
So this is a much different world
than
what we live in now. But we don't. It's not.
They never gave us
John
a year.
Lithgow makes a. John Lithgow. I don't think they gave us a year. John Lithgow makes a comment at one point in the movie that when he was younger, they used to invent something every day,
which is like our time.
Yeah, and Matthew McConaughey's driving I believe a Dodge Ram dually. So it kind of gives the idea of, did progress just stop at one point in this world?
Yeah.
In this future, so it's maybe that was a director's choice to make it so this movie doesn't like become dated,
right?
It's like a Back to the Future thing. We have Ford probes dressed up in body kits.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a really good fucking call. That's why.
So I don't know if like that was the purpose of that, but
that's why Louis C.K. wears blue jeans and a black shirt, because he said that will never date him.
It's true, yeah.
So there you go. Nolan was on that. But yeah, I think this was really cool to show how passionate Matthew McConaughey was about space travel. Like, not space travel, but just knowledge and not necessarily staying on this planet. Because he did work for NASA prior to this.
He was a pilot, and he encountered, we found out a little bit later, he encountered a strange gravitational anomaly.
Yeah.
Unexplained, no one knows what's going on. So we get to like some stuff. So they use the drone technology to drive the farming equipment, tractors and stuff. And Matthew McConaughey is kind of like known as a driver, sort of, or an engineer in the area that will kind of like make your equipment self-automated.
He's a tinkerer.
Yeah, he's a tinker. Yeah, maybe the best way to describe him. We have a big dust storm, which is pretty nuts. It's like a massive, insane dust storm, like nothing we've ever seen. So kind of give you the idea that the Earth is dying
and
dust is all over. Vegetation just can't hold the dust in place. Is how what I figured is the purpose of all this dust storm, right?
Well, I never thought of that either, but yeah, I think you're right about that too. And they don't show you the frequency. They don't tell you how often the dust storm happens, but based on everybody's reaction, it happens all the fucking time. Because nobody's that scared when the dust storm comes.
Well, yeah. Oh, then and then with the Yankees too. So we had the New York Yankees, and it's like a high school baseball game.
Yeah. He's like, who are these posers?
It's a real team though.
Yeah.
And another idea, like the type of world this is, there's no like mega sports entertainment franchises anymore.
It's just so
it's vastly different. I think he also said John Lithgow said at one point there were 6 billion people in the world, and he talks about how things are better now.
Yeah.
I thought that was like another nod to like shit be crazy. So
I wonder how many people there are.
Yeah.
Can't be much.
I mean, if they're running out of food, you figure like the poor nations that are already supported by other countries with food, are probably dying, right?
Yeah.
So,
and if there's 60 people at a Yankees game, that's a good breakdown.
There wasn't much more than 60, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then after this, they get the big like dust storm, and like we were just saying, so it kind of gives you the hint that this happens all the time, because Cooper basically is like, all right, let's go. Like he knows what he's doing. He doesn't really give a shit. Gets his family in the car. They get home, and
they have prep kits.
Yeah, they're prepared.
They have dirt mask and goggles in the car because it's such a common occurrence.
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing that showed that off. So this is something they do all the time, and they make it home, and Cooper's like, Murph, what's the son's name? Fuck, whatever the son's name is. Did you guys shut your windows? And this kind of
fucking ask Tom. His name's Tom. But
yeah. And They get home, Murph left her window open, and fucking dust storm gets everywhere.
So yeah, she goes up to the dust, and the dust is coming down very oddly into, it's like lines. It's almost like if you had like vertical blinds, and it's gathering into these certain spots. And he said that he tells Murph to get out of the room, and when she comes back later, he throws a quarter at it, and the quarter sticks to these spots on the lines. He said it's gravity is like making these dots, and they find out it's Morse code, and those Morse code the Morse code that is on the floor from the dirt of the dust storm, because Murph left her window open, translates into coordinates which aren't not terribly far away from where this movie is located.
Yeah. Now, was this after all of his equipment went fucking haywire?
So I mean, all of his farm equipment all drives to his house, and I'm not really entirely sure what was going on with that exactly, because it's not really referenced in the movie. I felt,
Yeah.
you know, maybe you say it's a gravitational anomaly, but later in the movie we never see him interfere with that. So I didn't quite understand what was going on there.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was the drone, because so at this point he could have like repurposed that drone shit to automate his whole farming stuff.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah,
I believe.
So maybe the drone innards did that. I don't know, but
What happened to all of his farm equipment? So that's where.
oh, I guess he could only do it for one.
And they all pulled over to his house.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Yeah,
that.
what the fuck was that? That's a good question.
And even this is the third time I've seen the movie, and I still didn't understand like what. Maybe someone's screaming at their headphones.
Yeah.
All 6 of you.
If you guys know, please tell us, because I would like to know as well. But at this point,
So, yeah.
he fucking puts those coordinates in, gets in his truck, and pieces out. Finds out in a few minutes that Murph, being a fucking Voyager like Moana, she jumped in the truck with him. And
She smuggled her way in. Yeah.
yeah, and he
also
didn't turn around.
I noticed this too.
Good.
Yeah, he kept on going. There is no GPS because he makes her navigate with the map. There's also no paved roads in this world.
Oh shit.
Because I don't think I've seen it. Maybe in the town there might be a paved road, but he's driving on like gravel roads the entire time, and no one's driving on a gravel road for 40, 50 miles, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, kind of like another idea of what I think a good director's choice on making this world shitty, but not in the normal sense of like, hey, look, the city is completely destroyed or run down. No, just like the government can't fund anymore and can't provide like basic travel.
Yeah, basically tax dollar shit is no longer a thing.
Yeah, there's probably no streetlights anywhere. Just shit's gone downhill. So,
and they really reference that once we get to where Cooper's going. So he shows up to this place at the coordinates left, and then you just hear a big voice and a bright light, and it basically just takes him in. But very intimidating. He seems terrified, and he wakes up and Murph's not even there.
Murph's not there, and we see how would you describe your first look? Because he's just a big metal rectangle with a small TV on him. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. When I first,
and you're kind of like, what is this?
Yeah.
And you realize the person talking to him is a fucking robot. It sounds just like a person, but with just small, like, I don't know if it's a proper word, nuances that sort of give it away just a tiny, tiny bit.
Yeah.
And I'll like the people that voice the robots in this movie. I think they did pretty good, because
yeah,
it's like you can tell they're robots, but they don't sound robotic at all.
I'm pretty sure the guy that plays Tars is the dad from The Grinch. So look that up, but I'm pretty positive.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But yeah, man, they fucking killed it. It felt like you were actually there. Like, it felt like a real person was playing Tars.
I'm surprised it wasn't Alan Tudyk that played both robots in this movie.
Who's that?
Steve the Pirate.
Does he do that a
Steve
lot?
the Pirate. He does a ton of roles. I mean, he's in Transformers. He did Firefly, the TV series. He voiced a robot in Rogue One. That everyone loved.
Oh, he was the tall one.
He has an incredible IMDb page. Check him out. He's done like a ton of shit. So
Alan Tudyk,
fairly famous. Yeah.
Cool. I'll check him out.
So the robot sort of interrogating him. Anne Hathaway shows up. She said, "Hey, what's up? We've got your daughter." And then they get into a room, and all these guys are like, "How would you get here? This is NASA, bitch."
Yeah.
How'd you get here?
Yeah, but that reveal was fucking cool. Like,
yeah,
they didn't. Cooper had no idea where the fuck he was, and
he had no clue where it was.
And he thought,
and he has to.
He
explain.
thought he was going to get killed.
Yeah, and he thought he was going to get killed because he was like wondering, like, is our safety guaranteed that we're going to leave this place?
Yeah, he wanted collateral.
He said, this is NASA, dude, and I thought so. He has to explain how he got there. That might be the hardest thing ever because he has to tell that he got there because of dust from an open window fell and made coordinates on the floor of his daughter's room.
Yeah.
Like, how's that possible? No one's going to find that. And your daughter's been referring to it as a ghost.
Right.
And at this point, you might as well say, like, yeah, there's
a fucking ghost.
Goddamn fuckery is going. There's a ghost.
Yeah, but he stuck very scientifically. Like, he was like, a gravitational anomaly brought me here. Like, he said what it was to him. But the coolest thing was this transition from when he found out it was NASA to talking and interacting inside of NASA. It was like, they're like, this is NASA. He's like, oh shit, it's NASA. The whole wall behind him just shoots up, and then he's just like cool with everything.
So he was a NASA pilot before, and he's also hanging out with Michael Caine, so he's probably pumped about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael Caine is Anne Hathaway's dad. They're both scientists on.
They're both wonderful people.
Like, all they like astrophysicists, like. He's studying gravity this entire time. Michael Caine is.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he basically says that Earth is doomed. They have probably about one generation left. He says the last people to starve on Earth will be the first people to suffocate because the blight is what it's referred to that is destroying all the crops, and slowly it thrives from the nitrogen in the atmosphere and reduces the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere at the same time. So there's less oxygen and there's more nitrogen. So it's everything's going to shit on Earth. So they say, hey, 10 years ago, we sent out missions. We sent people into a wormhole that popped up near Saturn 48 years ago. And we sent 12 people in to look for possible hospital planets for a new Earth.
Alternative.
We've got Plan A. Plan A, which is to somehow solve the formula, lift up a small, maybe not a small town, a giant fucking building. Imagine like lifting like the biggest building you can think of, like some sort of like New York fucking giant tower. Imagine like bigger than that, and you're gonna make that thing fly.
Yeah.
So they're trying to solve this equation. Plan B is to use frozen embryos and repopulate the planet that way, or populate a new planet that way, and try to make your way from there. So that's what they're left with, and Matthew McConaughey comes into this whole plan because he is they thought he was dead, apparently, and he's the only person that's ever flown a mission. Everyone else had already flown before was only did simulator, and I'm not sure if they had the best track rate on that.
Yeah. They're saying Cooper is the best pilot, and this just shows you, like, everybody has so much respect for Cooper, and he's, like, such a smart engineer, but when we first meet him, like, you would never expect that. He's like just this farmer guy chilling out in the cornfield, but Cooper's smart as shit, and he
speaks his mind too.
Yeah,
so he's brash with people.
He knows his shit.
He talks about how if his wife wasn't dead, that you'd be having a better conversation right now because she was the more like understanding or gentle one.
Yeah. He's a very, very smart dude. He knows what he means. He knows what he wants, kind of thing. And they basically just like propose the idea that he takes part in this next mission. Essentially, like, dude, we fucking need a badass pilot. And this part was really cool for me. He's like, you were going to do this mission before I came here. And he said, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Kane.
Which is, I guess, I think is like an understanding of the how
scarcity.
dire the situation is. Yeah.
So it's like, we got to fucking
if you
figure
can
it out.
increase their odds, yeah. And he tells them, too, it's like, you can stay here and be with your kids, and they're doomed if you don't possibly go. But you can actually like make like an impact on the survival of the human race by accepting this mission.
Dude,
so he takes it.
It was a lot of fucking shit to put on one dude.
It's basically like on his way
hour.
back, yeah. And yeah, he has like basically like no prep time too.
Yeah.
So he gets home and his daughter's like super mad at him, and I thought this is a really cool line where he says, he's talking to Murph and he says, "I can't be your ghost right now. I need to exist."
Yeah.
And if you think of like the context of the film at the end of this, I can't be your ghost right now.
He was her ghost. Oh yeah.
He was her ghost. Yeah.
That's cool.
And so I
never thought of that.
Yeah. He has this incredible hard goodbye with his daughter, and she doesn't talk with him, which was this like hit me hard recently when I watched this.
Yeah.
And I guess it's
they're so close.
They're close, and then it's saying goodbye to someone that is knowingly probably not going to come back.
Yeah.
And there's this sort of like optimism, which I recognize that he's talking about, well, I might be back, and maybe when I come back, we'll be the same age. And Matthew McConaughey is, I don't know if he's supposed to be in his like 30s or 40s now at this point. And his daughter is, what's his daughter? Probably like 8 or 10? Probably 10 years old, 12 years old maybe?
9 or 10.
And his son
12,
is,
maybe. Yeah.
His son's probably like 14, 15.
Yeah, and this showed he knew the severity of it. When he said we might be the same age, he realized there was a chance that relativity
but I
and
think
being
that
away...
was an optimism too.
Yeah,
I think on his part.
Yeah.
So he's saying maybe at best shot, we might be the same age when I come back.
And that's when she lost her shit. She's like, "What the fuck? You never know when you're coming back." And this is where she shows Matthew her Morse code in their bookshelf. It says "stay," which says "stay" in Morse code, and he doesn't buy it. He thinks she's bullshitting. I don't know why he would think that.
STAY.
He says "stay." I don't know why he would think she's lying, because all this other shit happened because of her.
Yeah, I think so. We could say like we've associated that or identified that the ghost is not in her mind, right?
Yeah.
The ghost is like a legit, real thing.
Gravitational anomaly. At this point.
Yeah, so,
correct, yeah.
So we have this incredibly hard goodbye.
Don't let me
Murph doesn't say anything. And as he's driving away, Murph runs out. So Murph feels bad. He feels bad. It'd be hard because like you're saying goodbye to someone that it's kind of like you're saying like you're dying to me.
It's like you're kissing their head in the coffin. That's the equivalence of this.
But they're alive, and it's like they're knowing. It'd be so incredibly tough to do this, I think.
Yeah, and that's why that's another great thing about this movie. Feelings that you yourself in this day and age would never imagine you'd have to make these decisions. But Matthew McConaughey and the other supporting characters make you believe that those decisions are being made.
This didn't hit me as hard as it did before originally, but for some reason this time it just kind of got to me.
Oh, dude, I cried a little bit. Like every time I watch this fucking movie, somewhere I get a little teary-eyed. But
so we kind of fast forward to this launch. Launch is underway for this mission.
We finally made it
sort
to
of humor
space.
Of the robot. He talks about the robot colony. He's got plenty of human slaves for his robot colony.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of cool. They have honestly, it looks like just like a Saturn V rocket. for the first several stages,
Like a rocket that we've used.
which were those are the Apollo missions. It's currently the most. So in our time, it's the most powerful rocket that we've ever created.
Okay.
And it was just that's what took us to the moon. That's what they used for the moon missions was the Saturn V rocket. So it's really big. It's got a ton of power, and it gets you to the moon. The space shuttle, if you don't know, only goes into low orbit around the planet, and the highest mission that I think the space shuttle has ever done is the Hubble telescope, twice, because originally when they released it, and then they actually had to do repairs on it shortly after releasing it.
Wait, the Hubble's not on Earth anymore?
The Hubble telescope's orbiting in space.
Oh shit!
And that's the one that gets us all those dope space pictures.
I thought the Hubble started on Earth, but then they.
No, it was built for space.
Really? You sure?
Yeah, and it was it's been in space since maybe the early 90s, I believe.
How far out is it? It's just keeps going.
Yeah, I mean it's orbiting Earth.
Oh, okay.
It's the furthest thing we have orbiting Earth. It's further than everything else.
So that has to equate for relativity too, I bet. Like the GPSs in our sky, the satellites are far enough away from Earth that their time changes by like millionth of a millisecond. So you have to equate for it.
I don't know if they'd be like calculating the time on it because they're just transmitting like image data.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess there's not really.
So I mean, I think I'm fairly certain it's only used just for photos. So I'm not sure if like you'd be like having to calculate. I mean, maybe like if you had to like, maybe there's some sort of like pinpointing like where the data is gonna like go to.
Yeah.
If you have to send like data in like a directional like sort of like ray.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but
I can't imagine it changes.
Maybe, yeah. They're sending out. From what I understand, there's gonna be a better telescope sent out within the next like 2 years.
Oh shit!
It's gonna be like way better than Hubble. Yeah. So, I mean, Hubble is old technology now.
Yeah, 30 years.
So, I mean, it looked like Saturn V though, and there's a sort of like docking situation. And from my experience with a Kerbal Space program, docking is basically impossible. I'm not sure how people ever did it.
Really?
But docking, which when you're taking one craft that's orbiting a planet in space to a second, and you have to catch up with your burns and meet up with it, and then dock with it by attaching like 2 points. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and
from my perspective, and for this movie, it is also a challenge.
Super difficult thing.
So they dock though, and then they prepare for their ride to Saturn, which is 2 years at this point. So they had a 2-year trip to Saturn, which is where the black hole's at, or where the wormhole is that they're traveling to. I think so. The ship spins. They do a burn on the ship to spin it and to create gravity. They do 1G. I think this might have been super important because humans don't do good in space in zero gravity. I think I'm not entirely sure the longest, but someone might have done a year, maybe like 11 months or so. I think a Russian guy has the record on the space station for like longest continuous space trip.
What did it do to his body? So do we know?
It's not good for like your body like stretches out because you have no like compression on your spine and everything, and so it's not super healthy for you, I think. And you also have to like you're like constantly like they have like treadmills and stuff, so you'll work out all the time. So I think them creating the gravity during cryo sleep is pretty important for maybe like a scientific reason on like realism, which I think this movie really kind of goes for realism.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a cool, and it's also important for I think the kind of like the rest of the movie with the Matt Damon scenes.
Yeah, which surprised Matt Damon, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, cryo sleep, super important to show. And then you said they go under for 2 years at this point.
It's a 2 year. I think it's like 2 some months, so roughly 2 years, to Saturn.
Yeah, and then this is where they essentially wake up, pop in that motherfucking wormhole after that.
Yeah, they wake up, they have the wormhole. Anne Hathaway touches a gravity sort of wavy thing that comes into the ship, and she says, "This is the first handshake between Earth and or human species and whoever these beings are that put this wormhole here for us." They're introduced to Gargantuan, which is the massive black hole and the possible 3 planets that they're checking out. So the whole mission is check out 3 planets around a massive black hole through this wormhole, which is into another galaxy for possible life forms. And these 3 planets all have good readings on them.
And
so
not according.
These are all viable possible replacements for Earth.
Yeah, and according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, he would never want to live on a planet this close to a black hole. So all 3 of these are already disqualified.
Okay, so,
yeah.
But as I know that the movie's not perfect.
Yeah, I know.
But in the context of the movie, we'll follow the science.
Yeah.
So we got Miller, we have Mans, and we have Edmonds. And I think the closest one to them, or maybe the most promising data, is Miller.
Miller, correct, yeah.
So they decided to go to Miller. And Miller is very close to our Gargantuan, which is the planet is orbiting a black hole versus a sun. It's a collapsed star. So the plan is they're going to do a wide arc, drop down onto Miller's planet and pick her up. And we're introduced to the idea that 1 hour on Gargantuan is 7 years, I believe.
Yeah, 1 hour, 7 years.
Yeah.
And that
1 hour, 7 years.
And that's because of the pull of the black hole as well, and how big.
Yeah. So we've got more intense gravity. So gravity affects time, and the closer you are to a very strong gravity. So I mean, if you figure like Earth, if you're on the surface of Earth, you're traveling at like, one to one time ratio, and if you get out of orbit like we were talking about with satellites, you're actually, because you're further away from the center of gravity pole, say, I don't know the numbers, but you might be traveling at like 0.9 gravity to time ratio.
Yeah.
So time moves slower for you the further you away from that gravity source. Can't explain it too much further than that because I'm not smart.
Yeah.
But
I've done a lot of research on it. It's very difficult to grasp, but essentially
also the faster you're moving as well.
Yeah. There's speed and then weight help changes shit too, like how large a planet is, kind of. But
you can actually test this by having atomic clocks, which are supposed to be like the most accurate clocks you can get. But if you have a clock with you, say like on Earth at your house, and you take a trip on a plane, and you take another clock with you, that those times are supposed to match to like a fraction of a second. The clock those times will be different after you ride on a plane. I mean, you're only shaving off like thousandths of a second.
Yeah.
But
it's just crazy. Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's crazy. When you walk, you're actually shattering the whole sort of laws of time just by moving just a little bit. I mean, you're not making a difference, but that is a thing. That's a legit thing.
Yeah.
So that's an important part of this movie.
And if you don't believe in relativity, then fuck you.
Ask Paul.
Yeah, Paul doesn't believe in it, but if you don't believe in it, fuck you. A little quick tidbit that helped me understand one of the key things, obviously relativity for this movie, was we think of space like, hey, I'll meet you at the mall. But you're never just meeting at the mall. You also have to give a time. So time is part of coordinates too. So it's essentially we exist within time, and that is manipulated just like space kind of thing. I might not be smart enough to explain that, but it made sense to me. I would like to fucking do way more research on relativity, man. It blows my fucking mind.
We can do the Einstein thing, but I'm good on that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
So They drop on the planet. They have some pretty cool practical effects here. I think with the camera on the shuttle. The shuttle does we kind of see like Cooper's impressive pilot skills by doing sort of like an arrow. He uses the shape of the ship to use the wind force to slow them down, and he kind of does a spirally turn and then a retro burn to slow himself down right before they hit the surface. We see some mountains in the background. It is a water planet, though, for the most part. So we see water. We have some like very distant mountains, and they say we have 130% 130% gravity. So because of the distance to the planet, gravity is about a third stronger than what you would normally affect. But because we're also so close to the black hole, it's 7 years for 1 hour.
Which is crazy.
They go to check on. They land like right in the site of where Miller is supposed to be, which is this. Miller is the Lazarus member that landed here, sent the data that this was a possible hospital planet, and where's she at? So they look at. They can't find. They find it. It's like very shallow water. It's honestly like a foot or 2 foot maybe of water.
Yeah.
On our people here. Cooper's in the ship. They find out that holy shit, those aren't mountains, those are waves, and these waves are literally like I don't know,
skyscrapers.
These are mountains. Yeah, these are fucking hitting the clouds.
Yeah,
is how big
bigger than skyscrapers.
They find out they're in a swell of on this planet, and that wave's fucking coming. So they tell her to leave. Tars, our robot friend, goes and picks up Anne Hathaway because she gets some debris caught on her. But you also got to keep in mind that she's moving at a higher gravity, so everything's a little bit heavier. She can't move as well.
Yeah.
So
and you're in water, so that's fucking your gravity up too.
Yeah, I think it's the guy from Hunger Games in the first one who was the game master.
Oh yeah,
the guy.
He's got intense facial hair.
He tells Anne Hathaway, he tells Tars to go pick up Anne Hathaway, but he's kind of like watching. I'm not really sure why, because he doesn't make it onto the ship by seconds. Honestly, I
think he was scared.
He could have made time to get it because he didn't help Tars bring Anne Hathaway back. So I didn't quite understand that. So honestly, I wrote down he sort of dies for no reason.
Yeah. I think he just might have been scared, but it was very stupid because he just hung out and watched it all happen. But this is the first time we see what these robots are really capable of. They're big.
These robots are dope as shit. They look like a table
with a screen.
You realize that they move like a scissor, but they also can like spin as like sort of like some sort of like crazy spindle. These robots, honestly, I want one.
Yeah, they're fast as fuck.
I think all the robots were practical effects, and it's kind of like the same thing with BB-8, where they made several different robots for the different tasks in this movie.
Yeah.
So they really crushed it with this, I think.
Yeah, and like they're some of my favorite characters in the movie, and they're just big hunks of metal. But yeah, we really
they're fantastic.
Yeah, we see like what they can do, and Tars goes and grabs Anne Hathaway fucking back to the ship very quickly. And I was pissed at Anne Hathaway at this scene because, bitch, you are taking so much fucking time. I understand it's super important, but shit, like, I don't know.
You saw the wave.
Yeah,
you saw the wave coming.
Like, is it that important to kill yourself over? We have two other choices.
At this point, I mean, I'm not in this situation, but you see a 10,000 foot wave coming at you. Like, oh, this planet probably not a great spot to live.
Yeah. I'm doing anything I can to get out of the way of that giant wave.
So the game master dies. I don't even know his name.
McDoyle or Doyle.
R.I.P. I'm sorry. He dies. They said that Miller probably died minutes ago, and landed hours ago.
Yeah.
Because of the whole gravity difference, which I thought was
super cool.
Pretty cool, pretty crazy. Because I mean, they got this message, 10 years ago from their perspective. and they said that she probably just died in one of the swells minutes ago. So yeah,
Like she was probably still warm.
The ship is flooded though, because they rode the first wave, and they said it's gonna take 45 minutes to an hour for the ship to drain all the water. They get into a situation, they blow the cabin pressure, shoots out the water. They barely dodge a wave. They kind of like ride the wave. It's like a pretty cool scene.
Yeah.
Ride the wave up to, and they get back to the orbiting ship where I can't remember what his name is now.
Mick something.
What is his name? Anyway,
Blackfish.
fuck.
Romilly,
Romilly, something like that. Romilly.
Romilly, yeah.
He's on the ship, and he is aged
23 years.
It's been 23 years, 8 months, and 4 days.
Yeah.
And he's done 2 cryo sleeps is what he's done. But he at one point decided he didn't want to die sleeping because he didn't think they were coming back, which is understandable. The whole time this is I think one of the craziest things you think about, because you've got time was such a valuable resource. A situation went wrong, and think about how frustrating that hour would have been on the ship, because he has kids and he was planning on being back, within 10 to 15 years maybe.
Yeah, and the crew's reaction to how much he aged when they got back, it was like they knew what he had been through. He was in worse than prison. He didn't even have. Did he have Case on the ship?
Yeah, Case was on the ship.
Yeah.
Tars was
Tars went down. Okay, so he did have Case, but like he was in prison for 23 years, man.
Yeah, with no idea if anyone's gonna come back.
No guarantee.
Which is incredibly brutal. But then you think about Cooper, that 45 minutes to an hour that he spent. It's like if you've ever been in a terrible situation and you have no control over it. Think about each minute you're doing is like a couple years of. It's been a half a year. So every 10 minutes you're like, holy shit, like I've just missed this huge portion of my life from, my children's life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when they get back, his kids are obviously grown up. They're like full grown adults, and his kids have caught up to him in this sense.
And
I mean, his son had a kid. He's a grandfather now. His daughter has now caught up to the age that he was when he left. Yeah.
And this is all because Anne Hathaway's theory was wrong about the time dilation, right?
Yeah, because they were only there for, I don't know.
The hour.
Little over an hour. So, yeah, I mean, so say we're generous with it. Just 10 years. But yeah, they hit 23 years.
Yeah.
So
her theory was off essentially, and they were kind of doomed from the get-go anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is really where Matthew shows off his fucking acting chops when he sees these videos of how much he's honestly lost. And you got to keep in mind, he just saw his kids. They were young enough to pick up less than 2 years ago, and now they've surpassed. They're 10 times their age at this point, or not 10 times, 3 times their age, kind of thing.
10 times. They're 600 years
they're
old.
1,000 years old. Yeah, but he like really reacts to it like, oh fuck, we fucked up, kind of thing. And it was that cry scene is my favorite scene of the whole movie because he fucking kills it. And
it's super rough.
Oh, and Murph held a grudge the whole fucking time. She's a grudge here.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't respond until no one else responded, and the only reason she finally sent a video, because she didn't send one through her entire childhood. It was just her brother. The only reason she sent one is because they caught up in age, And that was like the last thing her dad said to her was that we might be the same age when I come back.
Yeah, it was like a fuck you kind of thing.
They passed that halfway point, so I mean, so they're back at the planet, or they're back on the ship, and because of the complications, they only have the option to do 2 planets now if they want to make a return trip back to Earth. So they have Edmund now versus Man. And we find that Brand is in love with Edmund, who stopped sending data years ago. Like for several years, he did not send data. And then we have Man, who also had not as good data sent on like a hospital planet, but he'd been continuously sending data for years and years and years. So you have these 2 things, and we found out Brand has a biased opinion because she's in love with Edmund. So they say, yeah, but he hasn't responded in decades, so why would we follow his data? So they don't do it. So they decide to go to the Man planet, MANN, Man.
Yep. And this place is shitty. Shows us essentially flying into Man's planet, and we hit a fucking frozen cloud, bro. You ever heard of that?
Clipped a frozen cloud.
Me neither.
It's like it was a cloud, but then as you made contact with it, because the atmosphere sort of changed, it became frozen right away.
Yeah, and fucking land on the planet. We must have the exact coordinates of the people from the Lazarus, because they found Dr. Man pretty easily. And
it had beacons, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So now we fucking show up, and Dr. Man is in hypersleep. We wake that bitch up, and guess who the fuck it is? Matt goddamn Damon, dude.
It's Matt. I'm fucking Matt Damon.
Fucking Matt Damon, dude. I didn't even know he was in this movie when I first saw it.
I'm not sure what to do. This is right before he did The Martian, right?
Yeah, which good ass movie too.
Hey, back in podcast mode. We'll take another smidge because it's a long movie. This is a 2 hour and 49-minute movie. So if you're listening,
yeah, if you've made it this far, holy shit, text me. You get something for free. I'm gonna get you something for free, kid.
This podcast will be our longest one, maybe. I don't know. This will break the 2 hour though, because we still got a page and a half left.
Yeah. Also, I should say, this offer is only valid for the first 5 people that text me. There you go. Okay.
You have to know Corey's number. Corey, give out your number right now.
Okay. Here's my number.
No,
555. Here's my address. 666. Oh. 666. Okay.
I'm the beast.
Back in black. I fucked my dad. All right. This is a tale. Somebody I know, cool dude, dope dude and shit, has seen Deadpool 2 in theaters 27 times. Deadpool 2.
What?
And I...
Why?
Well, I know. I said that. I said the other day, I was like, why? And his explanation wasn't good enough. He's just like, I didn't have anything to do.
So I didn't have anything to do, so I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars.
So that's the thing. I think he might have gotten the movie pass we talked about. But
Wait, you said you can only watch the movie once, right?
Once a day.
The movie hasn't been out 27 times.
You're right. Fuck. How is this possible?
The movie's been out like, what, 2 weeks?
The 18th
Tops?
of May. May 18th.
Oh, shit. Well, I mean, that's still not a month.
No, it's 15 days. So, yeah, fuck. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Why, first off? That movie can't be good enough to watch.
Don't get me wrong, it was a good movie, but I've never...
But 27 I'm not sure if I've seen a movie 27 times.
I haven't. Like, he's seen Deadpool 2 more than you would have watched Groundhog Day in 24 hours.
God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm going to have a talk
I'm guessing
with him.
he's probably single, right?
No, I mean, He's
got a girl?
He's a cool dude. He's a good looking
wow.
dude. He's a good
I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to shit on him, but I imagine.
No, I agree. I know what you're
saying.
saying. Like it sounds like something like Shell or
Like if you
Paul
had
or-
time.
Yeah.
Like if you had time to do that without like.
Oh, I got you.
If I told my wife I was like I'm gonna watch this movie every day for the next 27 days, she'd be like, What are you doing?
Right. I would like.
No.
I would ask
We're getting
her. I'm
divorced
like, is everything okay? Is it okay? But yeah, if you hear this dude I'm talking about, I like you a lot. I just want to know why. So maybe.
I'm not shitting on you. Yeah. Call in.
Call in.
Give us a call.
Call in and let us know why you're doing this, and we'll have a little
More power
conversation.
too, I guess. If you're able to, I guess, yeah, you're able to power through that.
Yeah. If
Keep
you're-
on.
Yeah. Get to 30.
Hey, be calm and Deadpool 2 on. That's his T-shirt, right?
Yeah. That's what the kids are doing, right?
There's all those fucking T-shirts, right? With be calm and or keep calm, and I don't fucking know.
Keep calm
I'm done with it.
Insert anything at all. Okay. I guarantee there is a guy that grows coral out there, and he has a shirt that says "Keep calm and grow coral." I guarantee that exists, and for that, I hate this fucking planet. And back to Interstellar. Let's get off this fucking planet.
Let's get off this goddamn planet. No more coral.
Fuck you, coral.
So they decide on Man's Planet, which is, like Corey said, Matt Damon. We're introduced to Topher Grace at this point, which when I
Surprise
watched this
Topher.
movie, it was like surprise, motherfucker, fucking Topher Grace. I was really like taken aback.
Yeah, not as much as Damon, but pretty cool.
Not as much as Matt Damon, but I was like, the last person I expected in this movie was Topher Grace.
Yeah.
We find out Michael Caine lied and mumbled. Is what I wrote down, because he's on his deathbed. Michael Caine is, I don't know, probably in his 90s now. He talks about his mathematical equation to manipulate gravity to get this giant building off the planet. And he
spent his
mumbles a
whole
whole
life-
bunch.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what the fuck he was saying for half this scene. Did you?
So yeah, when I saw it in theaters, I saw it in IMAX. So very loud, direct looking at his mouth, and I still didn't catch what he said. So I think maybe he was just playing a dying guy very well. But
I rewound it, and
I had the
I didn't
captions. I always watch with the captions.
So I couldn't turn the captions on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have a bad ear. So,
Yeah.
You watch all movies with captions?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I play all my video games with captions on.
Yeah, me too. Cause
And it makes it way better.
yeah, movies are like that too because I usually have to read lips a lot. So
Yeah.
when I watch with captions, it helps me.
So Michael Caine mumbled though.
That's a good band name, Michael Caine mumbled.
Yeah.
But
Mouse rat mouse.
yeah, he says some deep shit, bro. He gets fucking deep.
Yeah, he's talking about how he lied about the equation, and that he never actually intended for them to get off the planet. And Murph asks him that if her dad knew, and if she left him to die. And she sends a message to his daughter, who's on the trip with her father, Cooper.
Dr. Brand.
Oh yeah, Dr. Brand.
Brand,
So yeah, Brand since it's Cooper. Yeah. And we found out the dust is really bad at this point.
People are getting really sick. Well,
people in the city. The dust is getting like worse, way worser. I
So-
think the
Here,
dust
before-
the dust that we saw at the baseball game is getting more intense, more frequent.
yeah, because people are like fucking dying, like their lungs and shit. You're talking about the kids at the house, right?
Yeah, basically at this moment, I think maybe we've gotten to.
Okay, I just wanted to note that Michael Caine, you have to really understand that he lied and sent his daughter to her death. Like, if you think
Well, I'm thinking he didn't send her to her death though.
he knew
Because
he knew they wouldn't come back.
But she has a better chance of a future than the rest of the planet. So I would say he probably sent her to her death though.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Shit. Okay.
Because from his perspective, Earth is doomed completely. There's zero hope for Earth. And he's sending her on the one possibility that there might be a Earth or a Earth-like, rebuild Earth civilization.
Plus how old he was, she probably didn't expect to see him again anyways. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they did really blow past their time.
Right.
I'm thinking the expected mission was, so you figure 2 years to Saturn, 2 years back, okay?
So that's 4 automatically. And then another 7 tops.
And, I mean, well, I don't think they knew about the gravity with Gargantuan. But let's say they did. So when they did expose that, let's say 7 years, if calculation was correct. I mean, you're only looking at, and Matthew McConaughey talks about he expected some shit to go down. I don't know if he expected 7 years. Did he expect several things? Because, I mean, they're going through a fucking wormhole, so who fucking knows?
Yeah.
But he expected when he came back that they were going to be the same age. Murph is, if we say like 8 to 10, I don't know. Not 23 years, right? 25 years at this point in the movie. I don't think he expected 25 years, so.
No.
But I mean her dad was old at this point. I mean Michael Caine's a little bit old now, so.
Yeah, I guess you're right though. He didn't send her to infinite or immediate death, but it was a cunt move that he didn't tell anybody.
Super cunt move, but I guess honestly maybe a necessary move.
Yeah.
How how they addressed it.
He was
later in the movie, people were not willing to save the future as much as they were willing to save themselves.
Right.
So he had to make up this great lie.
Yeah, it was necessary.
So, which brings us to so the dust is bad. Plan A was basically a ruse. They have a idea to when they're talking with Matt Damon, they want to send TARS into the horizon of the black hole because that could still possibly give them the information that they need if he can somehow transmit it back to Earth to Matt Damon or not Matt Damon, Michael Caine. To complete his because they're missing data from the black hole. No one's been in a black hole and no one understands what's inside of it. And the black hole Gargantuan is a unique black hole, they said. So
man-made.
It's a sun collapse, and I think it's maybe fresh. That's how they described it. It's a slow moving black hole, so it's not as intense, I guess, as a normal black hole that you would encounter in space.
Right. Well, black holes are fucking terrifying.
Yeah, so they have this plan to send TARS into. Matt Damon reveals himself as being a super cunt.
Tries to kill Coop.
He takes Cooper on this sort of trip to like, hey, I'm going to show you where I got the because this whole planet is fucking ice and rock. And he said, hey, I'm going to show you where I got these transmissions from. To like, hey, like this is where you could grow grass if you wanted or start a life. No, the whole fucking thing is ice and rock, and this guy's a fucking bold-faced liar.
He's
the entire time.
Piece of shit.
He's a giant, mega piece of shit. So
basically, he tries to fucking kill Matt Damon, or tries to kill Matthew McConaughey.
He says, "But I'm not entirely sure what his entire plan is." But he's like, I'm going to kill Matthew McConaughey.
And
rips off his transmitter. And so I think there's a really great line here where I think it gives the desperation in the situation of Matt Damon. So he's fighting Matthew McConaughey. He tells him that he lied about all the info, and he says to him, He's trying to smash his visor against Matthew McConaughey's to break it out because the atmosphere isn't breathable. It's slightly breathable, but it's not breathable. So you don't die instantly, but you have minutes of air, is what you have. And he smashes his visor, and he said, "What are you doing? You've got a 50-50 chance of killing yourself." And Matt Damon says to him, "Those are the best odds I've had in years."
Yeah.
And I thought that line kind of stuck with me in the scene.
That just shows you like how desperate he was, and he's like deranged. I feel like he's kind of lost it a little bit. How long?
It's like cabin fever, right?
How long was he there?
Well, we don't know how long he's been in cryo. So
he was there long enough to get in cryo and then not set a wake up date.
Yeah, I mean he was ready to die in his sleep mode. So
yeah. My favorite thing was I'm not skipping ahead here, I don't think, but he was explaining like why he did it, and he's like, "You don't understand. I knew there was nothing here, but if I just pushed that button, somebody would come and save me." And Cooper's like, "You're a fucking coward." And it just shows you like how desperate Matt Damon was, because he didn't want to do that.
And he said when he originally went to his planet, he never considered the idea that his planet wasn't the planet.
Right. So I bet he was like a cool like just a badass astronaut on Earth. He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go up there. This is my planet." But then he realized
he probably had like unnatural optimism.
Yeah, like faith, like genuine faith that everything was gonna be okay. But then it really that's a good way to make a fucking villain, dude.
It really went bad, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And
so
then
he tries to kill him though.
Tried to smash him in. He had basically like a bomb planted because he faked his data, is what he was doing. Whoever the one guy was, the black dude with the beard, he discovers the data.
He's like, "This data makes no sense."
He's like, "This isn't making any sense," and the whole place explodes.
Yeah.
And Hathaway picks up Cooper, saves him. He survives. And then we get to like this part of the movie. It's like last like third act, pretty intense because we have these like really two sort of like tense scenes.
Oh,
where we've got
like anxiety causing scenes.
Yeah, it's super tense, and like watching every time I watch this movie, it's like hard on your senses, on like your human body.
Because they turn down the audio, jack up intense like kind of sounds, and flashing lights.
Hans Zimmer is assaulting our ears.
Yeah, with beautiful shit. It's crazy.
So I mean, so he is rescued, and we've got these two scenes where Tom, which is Cooper's son, is a fucking psychopath, and his family is dying from the farmland, I think, right? Like, is it just too much dust? Is what it is?
Yeah, they're inhaling all that shit.
Something's causing them where like they have like they can't. They basically their respiratory system is dying, and he's like, Topher Grace says we gotta get these guys out now. I think they had one kid that I think died. This is actually their second kid, I believe, because
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse, was that the first kid?
Jesse was the first kid because he said we were going to name him.
Was he in the
Coop.
video? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said we were going to name our firstborn Coop, but she said we'll get him on the second one, and then the second kid.
Coop was Fuck yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so their first kid died, and fucking Murph, dude. 9 on my right, 45 in the other.
She called him out.
She's like, "Are you gonna wait until another son dies?" And he's like, "Get the fuck out and don't come back." But he was being stupid. He was being stupid. He's wanting his kids to sit there and die.
He's a crazy person, and then he's never. He never had the scene where that Murph did at the end of the movie, which I thought was, could because he's not as important, or just because he's a big asshole. But
I think, yeah. Well, Murph had the best relationship with their father because this kid never got his redeeming moment. He probably never saw his dad survived, and he probably died out there or something.
So, I mean, anyway, they set a fire in the fields to distract him, which we don't come back to that for like another 30 minutes after they set that fire. And then Murph has the watch where we see the second hand is kind of just bouncing a little bit, kind of weird. But we've had the gravitational anomaly on where all the tractors were brought to early in the movie. So we've got that. I guess I skipped around a little bit. The bomb's discovered, goes off. Dr. Mann is willing to take chances during this whole scene where he sort of doesn't give a fuck because he's overriding all the protocols on the ship. Because he's trying to dock, but he doesn't know how to dock. And the auto docking features are disabled. So but I mean, I guess if you think about back to the 50-50 thing where he said these are my best odds in years. It's almost like he can't go back from this point, right?
Right, and if he doesn't do anything, he just dies anyways.
If he lets them on the ship, I mean, they'll probably
lock him up.
I would kill him. Right?
I would kill him.
Throw him in some sort of space prison.
No,
throw him out in space. I don't know how you what would you like? Yeah,
I would kill him.
He just murdered one of your friends, kind of. One of your crew members, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
I was saying I would kill him just because I didn't think we had enough rations to keep him alive. But
yeah, he tried to kill another crew member too, which is Cooper. So Matt Damon's a horrible, horrible person.
I would kill the fuck out of him. Fuck him.
At this point, I mean, maybe he didn't start that way, and it's just the desperation to survive.
Yeah.
He put so much on the sort of survival thing where you will do shit to keep your body going, and he talks about how when he smashed Matthew McConaughey's helmet, that he's struggling to survive against these last dying breaths, and you can't listen to him. So that's one of his faults ultimately, where his plane fails. But they tell him don't dock. The ship explodes because he tries to he opens up the air hatch after he's docked improperly, blows the ship to fucking smithereens, and now their ship is spinning super fast. It is getting pulled into the orbit of the planet that he was on. So it's eventually going to once it's in orbit, I don't think they have strong enough thrusters to break through the atmosphere. And actually, it doesn't have heat shields, I think they said either. So I mean, they're really sort of get shit done now situation to bring the ship back to life.
Yeah, shit's not looking good.
Horrible situation, yeah.
So you talk.
This is the spinning dock situation where we've gotten at now.
Yeah, okay.
Which I think is maybe one of the most cool scenes of the movie, right?
Well, the whole when Matthew McConaughey or Matt Damon's character, when he was docking, he started this big villain speech, and then the explosion happened mid-speech, and that in the theaters, that made you feel something because you did not expect him to die right there.
It was the use of
noise. I don't even know.
Silence. The use of silence in this movie is really well done. I think. Did you see Gravity with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah, that made me anxious.
So that movie also did a really good use of silence with the space scenes because there is no sound in space, but they had a scene like that where Anne Hathaway is warning Matt Damon, don't open the hatch, you fuck, because shit about to go boom, fucking explosion.
It's
mid sentence.
Yeah, it was cool, man. And then now Cooper's showing off his badass pilot skills again. Like you said, one of the best fucking scenes in the movie. He
gets lined up. He matches the burn ratio spin with the rest of the orbit, and yeah, it's a
crazy.
It's a really intense. And then the same intense scene is we've got Topher Grace and Murph trying to pull out her in-law and her nephew out of the house because they set a fire for the psychotic brother. And so we've got these like dueling tensions going on throughout this movie. So this will raise your adrenaline levels, I think, watching it.
It can't not, because he's fighting passing out too. Like he's trying to.
Well, yeah,
stay away.
and Hathaway blacks out
pretty quickly too.
and this I think it attributes to the training that Matthew McConaughey has, right?
Yeah, for sure. He knew how to keep his body and everything.
Because yeah, like pilots have, like special training. They know how to breathe properly. You do like these like short, like sort of like breaths.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
Like, I mean, I think it's kind of like a maybe.
Yeah.
So somehow you keep yourself conscious during these like super high gravitational forces.
And some pilots might not even use it, but fuck, it's a good thing he knew how to use it.
And they said that he was the best option they had.
Yeah, and he was badass. But then he fucking does it though. He nails it, takes it home, shows you how badass Cooper is. Then we get up on the what's that ship called?
I can't remember what it's called.
The
but
Voyager.
They docked with it.
Or no, not the Voyager.
No, it's not the Voyager. They docked with it. I think it starts with an E. But they said, "Hey, we can't make it to Earth because of the whole issue with Matt Damon blowing up half our ships." So, but they said we do have time we can slingshot the we can slingshot Gargantuan. We can do a burn, and we can make ourselves to Edmund's planet, which is the third planet at this point. So Miller was the water planet, which is with the giant swells. Man was the ice planet who just tried to kill half the crew. And then Edmund is the guy who died, who Anne Hathaway's in love with. And they're like, we're gonna slingshot off the black hole, which is this like common practice for like the Voyager. When the Voyager launched back in the 70s, I think, or maybe the 80s, we got a really lucky planet alignment. So you do like a gravitational sort of swing. So as you're going around it, you build up speed, but then you do a burn to build yourself out of the gravity and launch yourself towards another planet. So I think they did like 3 planets maybe. I could be completely wrong about this.
For the Voyager?
So the Voyager satellites, yeah.
Really?
Which
That's
were
cool.
launched back in the day. So the Voyager is the furthest thing we sent out of our solar system. And officially now, I think they've actually made it official that it's broken our solar system. It's gone past the solar winds. So it's like way fucking past Pluto, but
still
I think it's like
a fraction.
Yeah, it took a long time past Pluto to get out of the cloud orb or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Right now, so
still a grain of sand in the beach that is the universe. So do not think that we have broken any ground there.
Yeah, this is our one solar system, which is our one star, which is tens of thousands of stars in the one Milky Way galaxy. So
yeah,
a grain of sand within a grain of sand within a grain of sand.
And that's compared to the observable universe.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we're back. We're doing the slingshot, doing the burn, getting out of that, and then it's like, oh fuck.
Well, he says, I think he says during the slingshot that they probably hit about 51 years of time.
Yeah.
Lost on the burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if his numbers. I don't know if he's like being like sarcastic here, or he's just kind of doing like a rough estimate because he's not a physicist. I don't think.
He knew it was a shit ton of fucking time.
It was a lot. So like it's maybe it's like 40 to 60 years, but he says 51 years at this point. So at this point he's lost, let's say 50. So he's got 20 almost about, we'll say 24 years. So we got 74 years previously, and then we got the 2 years to Saturn. So he's got 76 years on Earth time.
Yeah, that he's been away.
And he's been awake for hours, maybe
Yeah.
a day. I don't know.
And
Probably more than a day, I guess, because they had to travel from Miller Planet to Brand Planet, or Miller Planet to Man Planet.
yeah.
And the whole idea at this point is they're going to do a burn from the gravitational pull of Gargantuan to Edmund's planet, who Anne Hathaway was in love with earlier, who stopped transmitting data, but he had promising data. And so they do the burns. TARS does a burn, launches into, because the whole idea for him was to send back data.
For TARS, in case they died?
The black hole data to possibly fulfill the empty holes in the equation of Michael Caine's equation.
And then they would know which planet to target anyways after that. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if they knew which planet, but they could at least manipulate gravity at that point and launch the Plan A, which was to take a current population of Earth to space.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I think he lied to Anne Hathaway. Basically, he said Newton's law. I'm not sure what law he said. Doctor.
He said Newton's third law.
Newton's third law.
You gotta leave something behind. Yeah.
You gotta leave something behind and get where you're going.
He said it in his velvety voice too. But yeah, and that was like a save the world moment, you know. It wasn't saving the world, but it was like sacrificing himself for Brand. And
they had this touching scene where they're kind of seeing each other through the windows of the cockpit.
Yeah.
And then he gets sucked into the black hole, and I think they took a pretty good approach to. He gets sucked into the black hole, and he's sucked into the fifth dimension, and they make it a third dimension space.
Yeah, so he can manipulate.
I mean, how else do you view a fifth dimension on a movie perspective? Like,
right?
You can't, right? That's impossible.
Right, and it was smart that they did it the way they did.
So
they call it like
they created
the Tesseract.
a 3D space. Yeah.
Tesseract. So it allowed Matthew to interact in there, and I think this was all practical effects. The black hole falling into it, I think that was all practical, which is a cool fucking scene.
I would not have guessed that.
I don't know. Well,
maybe I'll have to check. I'll have to watch the behind the scenes of
no,
Interstellar, maybe.
Not the light and shit when he's falling in that, but when he's in the ship falling in and all those lights.
Yeah. I think maybe that. Yeah, probably that.
Yeah. But it was super cool when he arrived.
So he's stuck in this. I mean, it looks like an infinite library almost.
Yeah.
Imagine you're like the world's biggest, tallest, longest library, infinitely large. You're stuck in the scene, and this is like our grand reveal, right? Where he is the ghost. He's been the ghost the entire time.
Yeah.
Every scene and every reference, right?
And he handled it pretty well, because my reaction to this, seeing what is happening in front of me, is my brain is losing oxygen. But he was obviously fucking terrified, but he got it together and reacted to what was in front of him. I would have thought I was dying for sure. Pure fear.
Yeah, it was truly insane. Like they said they created this space so that they could live. Maybe just went through a black hole.
Yeah.
And I guess I say they because who shows up? But it's TARS.
Yeah.
Tars shows up.
Yeah.
Our most lovable character, maybe in the movie.
And it was just his voice too, wasn't it?
It's just his voice, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Where the fuck?
So he's alive, and he has the data from the black hole, which is the whole purpose of this mission, this subset mission.
Oh,
to get
so
Project A off the ground was to, because I mean that they were missing. They didn't have enough information on black holes and how they worked to get Project A off the ground.
Right.
Literally off the ground.
So Coop ended up getting the black hole information. I wonder if he gave it to the right people.
What do you mean?
Because
he
never gave it. We never see him give the information he gets from TARS at the end.
No, but yeah, we do.
Do we?
So TARS transmits the information to
Oh, yeah. Okay.
binary.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
And that's the information that he puts into the watch.
So what did he get?
And-
What did he get from TARS at the end when he's like, "Don't throw that away. I need that." Like I thought he was getting information from him.
What scene was that?
The very last scene where he comes back to his house from when he was on Earth.
I'm not sure exactly, I guess.
Maybe it's because they're
I
friends.
don't think I wrote that down.
I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean now.
Maybe that was like retro information, possibly.
Yeah.
And like maybe it was like past relationships. Maybe like TARS builds on a relationship, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, Matthew McConaughey sends the data to his daughter through the watch. He's the ghost the entire time, throughout the entire movie. Anytime there was like a mention of a ghost, it was Matthew McConaughey. He was in that bedroom. He was locked in that bedroom at a fifth dimension in a 3D space, though, to travel through and communicate with her.
He
So
set up everything. So he created this whole fucking movie. But
He filmed it. He directed it.
yeah, like the whole plot of this movie was set in the action by the ghost, and which is so trippy because he ends up being the ghost. So it's like a paradox kind of thing.
Which is why I thought that first line, which I'm not entirely sure what she said. I think it was, "I thought you were the ghost," and you said that she woke him up. So I didn't quite understand it, but
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is. But yeah, man, and then we see the "Don't Let Me Leave" Murph scene is my favorite scene in this whole movie. Cause oh my god.
and in the fifth dimension, yeah.
Oh man.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking and it's so fucking good. But he's sitting there. He's like, one, I think he's kind of scared that he's trapped in the fucking fifth dimension. Two, go ahead.
Oh, so it'd be like a terrifying thing where
Oh, yeah, you don't know if you can
Like-
even die in there.
like what is what is this dimension? Can you die? Is this forever?
Oh god,
Does time pass for you as like a normal existence?
that would suck. Yeah.
Are you trapped in like this bedroom, like smashing books your entire life? So
Yeah, so he could have been a ghost. So he was showing that real raw fear of being trapped in a dimension you don't even understand. Then he's showing like, hey, don't let me leave. I want to spend more time with you, Murph. He knows she's like 1,000,000 years old. He's sad because he's seeing her. So it's just super fucking, it's really good.
that's where the stay comes from too.
Yeah. The
That we referenced earlier is he smashed out the books that says stay because like don't fucking go.
Yeah.
And at this point, I guess TARS is not acknowledged yet that he's alive. So shortly after though all this, TARS is alive and he says I can transfer it in binary to you. So he transfers the data in binary to so Cooper has binary info on the equation to lift up, to manipulate gravity and lift up a massive building into space, which is the plan A of this whole movie. And so like, I mean, here we are from that, where he wakes up. He succeeds his mission. Him, Tars, and Cooper are picked up in space right outside of Saturn, which is right outside the wormhole. And he wakes up in Cooper Station.
And, oh yeah, and he thinks it's named after him. He wakes up
Named after him, yeah.
and this is the cool reveal of how old he is. They're like, "Sup, dude?" He's like, "Hey, how do you feel for a 124-year-old guy? You look pretty good." Like, so,
124.
yeah, he's 124 years old right now, and all that's elapsed for his body. Well, shit, I don't even know. Maybe the 4 years, 2 there, 2 back. Everything else was days.
Well, no, honestly, I mean, he was in cryo sleep though for the 2 years.
Oh yeah.
So, for him, it's been. Also, it's probably it's less than a year.
The equivalent of 1 year, probably.
And let's say we'll say he was 40.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's probably right. So he's 80. Yeah.
Yeah. He's aged 1 year.
He's aged 1 year between. It's trippy. I mean,
as fuck.
you see his daughter, so at the end scene, and she was in cryo sleep because she was close to death because of her age, because she's older. I'm not sure how old she is, but she tells him, happy to see you, but go get Brand, go find her.
Yeah,
because
I have my
she made her way on the gravitational swing to Edmund's planet successfully. Go find her. I have a family now. I have grandchildren. I'm your daughter, but I'm 60 years older than you. So
yeah, it's fucking crazy. And that scene right there, that I was watching it with like a couple of my dude friends that I try and be masculine and be the alpha dog, but I started tearing up a little bit. I was even like,
yeah.
Dude, could you imagine, man? She was your little girl. Like, he had to really feel that 4 years ago, to him 1 year, he was holding that child. He raised her to 10, and now she's 100 years old.
It's insane, yeah. And I mean, you gotta look at like his perspective of everything. So yeah, like when we talked about it, it's been honestly probably way less, right? It's probably been like a month for him, right? Because he was in cryo sleep, he went through gravity. I mean, he went from cryo sleep to Gargantuan planet, Miller's planet, which is right outside Grant. It's probably been like a week tops, right?
Like mental awake comprehension.
Because as soon as they got out of orbit of Earth, they went into cryo sleep.
Right. So
he spent hours within the wormhole around Saturn. It's dude, it has to have been like 2 days tops.
Yeah.
And Murph went from being a little girl to being 110 years old or whatever.
And this isn't. It's equivalent to like dealing with the death of your child and an old woman at the same time. What a weird fucking thing.
Yeah, it's super horrible. Yeah.
And I was talking to Paul, and he tried to tell me that Shutter Island was more trippy than this movie. I don't know. I don't think so.
Nah, dude.
I don't think so.
I read the book, or I didn't read the book. Actually, I didn't read Shutter Island. I read the book, same author, but.
Good book.
Well, he has his house. They built his house back, which I thought was kind of cool. And so we found out that the documentary sort of pieces that we had were pieces of the future of his house. So he was a farmer, and his house is on the Cylinder space station.
And There's
on one point.
several space stations, by the way, which I never.
Is there several space?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought there was, but I wasn't entirely sure though.
I never caught it until this time, but that's where Murph is this whole time.
She went from. They did say she went from a station to a station.
Yeah, so that was cool because the first time I saw this movie, I thought all of Earth was on this little cylinder, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't look big enough for everybody, but yeah. So,
You got these fucking asshole baseball kids bashing people's house.
those were the Yankees, you fuck.
No, those were kids.
I know. Those are the next Yankees, you bitch.
The next Yankees, yes. Fuck those kids.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's the fucking movie. He says goodbye.
Oh no! Wait, I mean, he steals a spaceship.
Yep.
He goes to pick up Anne Hathaway, who discovered a hospital planet.
She takes her fucking mask off.
She took her. Yeah, she can breathe. Like this is like, it looks like Arizona desert is actually what it looks like.
It's a legit habitable planet now.
She can breathe. She's growing the fetuses or whatever. I'm not sure the best way to the embryo fetuses.
Feti.
It was a good planet. They should have gone there the first time.
And she was right about love. It travels across dimensions. And now Matthew McConaughey Cooper is never going to question that again. Because I'm
not entirely sure if he got the chance because
you think he's going to make it?
I think he made it to Anne Hathaway's planet, who was in cryo sleep. Who's probably like, holy shit, you're alive? Like, goddamn dog. But yeah.
What if it's the same thing? He gets there, he's the same. I stay the same age, and he gets there, and it's
you're about 74 years old.
He has to say goodbye again. You know what I love about relativity? I stay the same age.
These high school girls stay 18. That's the same age.
I wonder if that joke's ever been made. Yeah, dude. Yeah, but this is an endless cycle. So Coop goes to catch up with Hathaway. She's on her deathbed. She's like, I knew you'd come back, Coop. He's like, God damn it. It's only been a weekend.
I know. This has been a rough week for me. My daughter went from 12 to 110.
Literally everybody.
You were with me like yesterday. You died.
We hung out.
That one guy we had several people died. I killed Matt Damon. I loved him in the Bourne or the Bourne trilogy.
Yeah, he was wonderful. Remember that guy we left on the spaceship? 25 years. 25.
What a goddamn week.
And that's Interstellar, bitch.
That's Interstellar. Abandon your family members because you got space time to deal with.
Your mom is so fat, time moves slowly when I have sex to her.
Around her ass.
Yeah, when I have sex around her ass, I grow older, but she stays the same age.
Boom.
Roasted. Thank you for listening, you fucks. This was a long-ass episode, so if you made it this far, you're the fucking titties.
It's a long movie, so...
Yeah, it's a 3-parter. All right. You got any signing out words?
Rate us on iTunes. How about that?
Yeah, give us a rate on iTunes. I want to leave you guys with a little fun thought experiment I had. Using relativity to keep a world leader young. Do with that what you will. I shot myself into some dark tunnels with that one. So... thank you for listening, and rate us on iTunes. I love you guys. Tell us what movie we should watch next. We are recording in a few days here, so keep your eyes peeled. What movie are we doing?
Fast and Furious. Fucking number X. I don't know. Fucking 10. I don't know how many. 7, 8, 6.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
It's going to be the family episode.
Fast and Furious, sir.
Fast and Family. This one was made for Paul, by Paul, from Paul. There you go. Later, guys. I love you.
See ya.